on social media. It's the holistic thing. It incorporates videos, incorporates audio, incorporates visual content like pictures, graphics, infographics, etc. So content is actually very, very holistic. So anything you can see, anything you can feel, anything that brands can use to connect with their potential customers, brands can use to connect with prospects or try to win strangers to buy from them or to be entertained by them. That's actually what we call content. So I'd like to go on to share my screen. Okay, here's my screen. So content marketing best practices for growth. I hope you can all see my screen. You could just let me know via the chat box. So I'd like to continue. So content marketing, the best practices for growth. Okay, yes, someone can see my screen. Good. Let me confirm.
Yes, I can see your screen, Jorge.
Okay. Okay, very good. Thank you very much. So moving on. So the key learning outcomes for this masterclass is one, understand what content marketing is all about, which I believe we all do right now. The types of content marketing strategies, which I believe we have an idea about, but we don't we might not know if it's okay. This is a strategy. This is strategy or etc. You need to understand. Okay, content marketing is actually a way which brand can use to connect to brands, and also a part of digital marketing, because we understand. Okay, digital marketing is a new way of doing marketing these days. Is what is in vogue. So unlike traditional marketing, which we have radio, billboards, or signposts or banners, etc. There are also ways of content marketing too, but they are traditional in their approaches. But we are also talking about digital marketing using digital medium. So we look at the types of content marketing strategies. We also be looking at the best practices for content development, like how we like write better content, how we like create better content, what will encourage me to be creating better content. So we look at all those things as we progress, and also how to be consistency with content creation, because it's not enough to us to just build one-time content and that's it. There's a need for us to be consistent in creating content. So we'll also be looking at that in this masterclass. So next up, and retain a particular audience to achieve product goals or brand goals or business goals, whatever goals you want to achieve. So you need to understand something basically. Oftentimes people create content. Content marketing is not content creation. Content creation is just a part of content marketing. You need to create the content, then you need to market it. You need to let it have wings. You need to let it fly. You need to let it go beyond your social media platform. You need to go beyond your Instagram story. You need to transcend wherever you want it to transcend. So there's a need for us to market the content itself, marketing in itself. So it's not enough to just create the content. So content marketing focuses on the distribution and creation first and foremost. But it's also important for us to know, okay, there's also distribution part of it, of relevant content to attract that one. Okay, that has to do with you are trying to attract strangers, people who don't know about your brand, who don't know about your product, who don't know about your business. You're trying to attract strangers to first and foremost be prospects. Then now they become prospects. Now you're not looking at the possibility of them becoming purchasing customers, for them becoming people who subscribe to your mailing list, that have been subscribers. So you need to engage and retain them with content, because you need to understand, okay, it's not enough to just get people into your mailing list, into your email marketing subscriber list. There's a need for you to give them engaging content, entertaining content, informative content, educative content, for them to be consistent and be able to be looking forward to your content maybe every other week that you're sending, every fortnight, every week, by the end of the day, etc. So you need to be consistent with it. So we need to, that's what content marketing helps us to achieve. It helps us to create relevant content and distribute this content for us to achieve our product or our brand goal. So you need to understand, okay, the bottom line for content marketing is achieving the goals we want to achieve. So it's not enough for us to just create content. There's a set goal that we must achieve with that particular content. So moving on, so content is actually the foundation in which any marketing campaign will ride on. Take for example, you want to do a social media marketing campaign. There's a need for you to create a visual content. There's a need for, okay, let's say if you're using Facebook or Instagram, for example, people must be able to see that you add material, you're creative actually. Then you must be able to see what you want to promote. So you need to create a visual content. This visual content could be in form of a video, it could be in the form of an image, it could be in form of a photo, it could be a behind the scene moment of you handling your product, it could be a testimonial. For it must be something that people can visualize, people will be able to say it. So you need to understand, okay, that's content. And you need to understand, okay, you don't just put that graphic online. So you also use what we call text content. That's where you now put your description, where you now put your call to action. Okay, buy now, subscribe to our mailing list, download now, visit website, etc. So those are the description or the caption part of using content in social media marketing. So let's use another example. Look at display advertising. Display advertising, that has to do with you placing ads on other websites to drive traffic to your own website. So when you create content like this, which will drive traffic from your own website, from other people's websites to your website, you also must also create content. But most times, in this case, you are using maybe a flyer, a poster. It's oftentimes an image content. So that's display advertising. You need to understand, okay, that's another form of content you're using. Also, when you're using SEO or SEM, you also use text content. Sometimes when you search for something on your search engines, you will see ad in a green box. Yes, you will see AD in a, that has to do with search engine marketing. So it's a form of marketing whereby, when we do SEO, sometimes our SEO efforts, they are not. Hello guys, are you in flow with me? Just give me a notification via the chat box. Let me know if am I too fast? Am I too slow? Are we in sync? Oh, in sync. Thank you very much. So yes, so you need to understand. Okay, our efforts. We might have a fantastic website. We might have well-researched keywords for our websites on our website rather. We might have enough content, nice content, well-optimized content on our websites. That's for SEO. But oftentimes there are some websites that they built authority over time in particular niche. So it's hard for us to kick them out of that ranking. It's hard for us to show on Google first pages. So that's why we tend to use SEM. SEM is the paid version of SEO. It has to do with you incorporating payment. The main difference between SEO and SEM is just that the fact that you pay. With SEO is organic, but you pay with SEM. So you need to understand, okay, for content in content marketing for SEO or SEM, you need to use the text content. With the text content, you can drive traffic from your own website, from organic search engine pages to your website. That is a form of content marketing too. So on that one, we see why we could use content marketing is email marketing. Oftentimes you get emails from your banks, get emails from which other organizations often discuss. Maybe other platforms we've signed up. Okay, maybe fintechs, other platforms we've signed up on for their mailing onto their mailing list, or we've actually using their product. So they tend to send us emails most times. So oftentimes they send us content using text. So you need to understand that there are three or four types of content. Text. We have visuals. It's not an absolute this way. People can say, okay, there's graphic and there's graphic and infographic one. Okay, text one, graphic and infographic two. There's video three. But another set of people can categorize that graphic, infographic, and video as visuals. Another one is which also have animation, which also fall under that category. Now audio. So ebooks, blog posts, they fall under text. Explainer videos fall under visuals, and the last one, the audio, we have podcast, we have Clubhouse these days, we have spaces on Twitter these days. So those are those examples of content that people tend to use to connect, or brands tend to use to connect with their prospective or current client. So let's move on. So next we need to, before we create a content marketing strategy, it's not enough for us to just create a content marketing strategy. What are we trying to achieve with this content marketing strategy? What is the end goal? What is what's our motivation? We need to understand that. So before developing a content marketing strategy, you need a marketing objective. Like, okay, this set of content I'll be creating, what is the end goal? Okay, is it because we want us to have to be top of mind awareness when people think of insurance, for example? Is it we want people to think of us when they want to process payments? Is it that we want to get 10,000 leads on this app? No, 10,000 downloads on this app? Is it we want people to join our mailing list? So you need to understand the objective. With this objective, it's easy for you to be in sync, be in tandem with the kind of content you're creating. So you're not creating come and buy today, and the next day you are creating content that is not related to what you created. So before developing a content marketing strategy, you need a marketing objective. Else, you create a cold call content for one audience that already wants to buy. Take for example, you have been nurturing this set of content of this audience for a while. You've given them informative materials, you've been giving them video, you've done short videos, you've done podcasts. So they are now looking forward to buying. So they are looking forward to you giving them the next call to action. Then what you now did was to tell them as if they are just new to into your mailing list. So it's hard that way. So when you make everything in sync, when everything is in sync, okay, your content, you know, okay, from day one, you're giving them content or information, you're giving them content about even I like the problem, make them see the need to use your products. And the next week, you give them content about the solutions your product offers. Then the third week or the fourth week, or when next one to communicate with them, they're looking forward to you just giving them the link to download the app. They're looking forward to you giving them where they need to make payments. But now you're not coming with a content that relates to their problems again. They've gone past that stage. So you need to be in sync. You need to understand. I think when we get to later part, you tend to understand that this place I'll explain it. You get to understand it better. So with an objective, you know your customer journey, and how to create content related to that. You need to understand that, okay, where are they right now? Are they new to the product? Have they seen the product before? So is it nice for me to create this kind of content now? So currently, is your content objective or marketing objective, is it brand awareness? Do you want just people to know your brand? Is it that you want people to download your app? Is it that you want to increase the number of sales leads you've been having from 5 to 50? So those are those things that informs how you create content. So if you don't have all these things at the back of your mind, you'll be having as those designs content marketing basically. So let's continue. So before you create content, I often tend to use what we call the 5 W's and 1 H. The 5 W's and 1 H. Can someone just tell me what it means? You can just chat, send it as a chat box. 5 W's and 1 H. Any idea what it means? Okay, I think someone wants to tell me. Okay, anybody? 5 W's and 1 H. Okay.
Hey, blessing in the chat.
I said, okay, who, what, where, when, and how. Who, what, where, when, and how. This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. No, it's not complete. Yeah, you are actually right. So it remains 1. And that last one is the most important part of it's on the slides. Right. It's on the slides. Really? Oh, it's on the slide. I've seen it. All right. All right. Okay, that's true. All right. So it forms the 5 Ws and 1 H. It helps you to ask 6 important questions before jumping right into creating content or engaging in content marketing. Okay, when you understand all this, the 5 Ws rather, and 1 H, you have a better understanding of the kind of content you create. You have a better understanding of how to create the content, a better understanding of why you should create that content. So this forms the foundation of your marketing objective and helps to achieve them through content. Let's go for that. You see what I'm explaining here. So the first one is the what. What content are you trying to pass across? What content will inspire your targeted audience? What's the format you are looking at? Are you okay? Your potential clients, they are people who maybe visually impaired. So how do you connect to them? Are you going to be writing a blog post? No, they're visually impaired. Okay, that means you need to work more on podcasts. That means you need to connect more with them via hearing. That's the kind of content create for. Okay, for example, you made a social media manager for a visually impaired company and they want people to come and register for their maybe foundation or etc. So you need to create more podcasts. You need to jump on platforms like Anchor. You need to jump on platforms like SoundCloud. You need to create content that people can resonate with. So you are creating a podcast. So you need to understand that, okay, what will resonate with my audience? You are trying to target millennials. You are making your content so formal, so corporate, so rigid. You need to be flexible. You need to use emojis. You need to use memes. You need to be playful. You need to be witty. You need to connect with them with your message. So, like, ask what kind of content, what kind of message you inspire them, what kind of message will make them to be like, oh, this guy is writing something cool. Okay, this platform. Well, I got their email and I resonated with it. So, what content, what message will inspire them to take your desired action? Because you need to understand something. Like we mentioned the first time, the soul of the major importance of doing this content marketing is the fact that you want them to do your desired action. You want them to what's that? What we call it? It means your business or products or brands objective, your goals. So that's the fundamental part of all this. When you understand all this, you need to understand, okay, this is the foundation of this content you're creating. So we are creating the content for millennials to download your app. Your objective is to get 10,000 downloads, and you are creating a content that doesn't resonate with millennials downloading your app. Your content you're creating it's for professionals, maybe C-level professionals. They are on LinkedIn, and you want them to download it. So you need to understand, okay, the kind of content you want to create must resonate with the kind of audience you're targeting to achieve what you want to achieve. So it's interconnected, sort of. So you need to understand, okay, your content must be related to your audience, must appeal well to them for them to do what you want to achieve. So let's continue. What content or message will engage? Okay, now first one was to inspire, to attract them, to call their attention. But secondly, now you need to understand that, okay, it's not enough for us to just attract them. It's not enough for us to just call their attention. There's a need for us to sustain it. There's a need for us to retain them on our platform. There's a need for us to make them be visiting our platform on a consistent basis. So what content or message we engage and retain them on our platform? You need to understand something. The content that you use to attract them might or might not engage or retain them when they come on your platform. So there's a need for you to work around this when you're creating your content. So now, who are you creating your content for? It still falls down to your business goals, your product goals, your brand goals. What are you trying to do with this content marketing strategy you are embarking upon? So who are the audience you're trying to write the content for? Are they Gen Z? Are they millennials? Are they divorced people? Are they widows? Are they high school students? Are they people who are orphans? Are they people who reside in Lagos? Are they people who reside in Odumosho? Are they? So you need to understand that those are the demographics. Who are this set of people? Who are what, no, who, basically who are they? Like, what are the things that forms them? So when you understand the audience, it helps you to write the content that appeals to them. So you need to understand that who are your customers. You don't just create the content, your product, and you say, okay, just social media manager or advertiser, go and run ads. No, there's a need for you to have, even though your product might appeal to a large amount of people or large customer segment, there's a need for you to have a laser focused set of customers or content, or laser focus people that use the content to appeal to. So those are the people that will form your customers. Those are people that form about 70% or more of your customers. So other people might just key into like, okay, because this app is good, or this product is actually fantastic, or I can actually use this product to when I'm at work, etc. But there's a need for you to understand the major set of people who will form your customer base. Are there people who are interested in finance? Are there people who are interested in cryptocurrency? Are there people who want to earn more? Are there people who are looking for passive income? Are there people who want to save more money? Are there people who want to make more money? So you know that there are two different things. So you need to understand that, okay, these are those, who are these people? When you identify them, it's easy for you to create the content that resonates with them. So on that thing you must understand is the when. So I'll continue. We'll get to customer journey. I'll explain that customer journey part well. So when we talk about the customer journey, that's the what when does. It talks about customer journey. I'll explain customer journey when we get further into it. I don't want to explain that; it's quite exhaustive. So, do they know about your product yet? When should you send a particular content to them? Should you send? Okay, you might not get it right now. Okay, maybe until we get to customer journey, you might get the when better. So the web basically talks about the customer journey. The customer journey, it basically talks about the different phases, the different stages which your customer are or your prospects are at a particular point in time. Are they in the awareness phase? Do they just know your product now? Are they just familiar with it, or they just saw um, a social media post, or did they see your ad? They are just new to your product. They're just strangers to your product. They don't have any interaction with your products currently. That's the awareness stage. Another stage is the next stage is actually the interest stage. Okay, they've now had interest. Like, oh, this product looks cool. This product seems like something I would like to use. Then the third stage is the desire stage. Okay, basically, okay, let me list the fourth one before I tell you what it means. So this third stage is the desire stage. Desire stage, okay, I've seen this product. Now I want to use this product. This product will help me to do more. This product will be able to achieve more. This product will help me to achieve better results. This product will help me to save more money. This product will help me to make more money. This product will help me to connect well with my customers. This product will help me to do whatever. So they are not interested in the product. So the last one, which sometimes people say there's a fifth one, but mostly is four. The last one is the action phase. The action phase talks about them taking action, them going to the CTA button, them clicking on download now, them clicking on buy now, them clicking on join the email list. That's now the action part. So that's what the when talks about. So the when tells you about when you should send this particular content to your customer. Your customer, your audience at this point in time, they want to buy this your product. They want to download this your app, and you're not sending a content that talks about um, their problems or it's not connected. You should be talking more about the call to action. You should talk about act now. You're talking about fear of missing out. That's the fear of missing out. Like, okay, we have a discount coming up on the 5th of June. You must make sure that you download the app, or you can use this discount code. So that's you should make them trigger them to pay, to trigger them to download now. So that's what you should do when you get to the action phase. So let's move on with the 5 Ws and 1 H. Guys, are we still in sync? Am I still flowing well? Just let me know. Oh,
Yes, we have responses from
thank you very
Ario
much.
and
Okay, thank you very much. All right. So now the next one, which is the fourth one, is the how. How will you reach this your customer? What this talks about is, okay, you've identified your customer or your potential customer, what content you should be sharing for them at that particular point in time. You understand when you should be sharing it to them. Now you want to identify how will you connect with this content. You connect this content to your audience. What content format will appeal to them? Is it audio? Is it video? Are they African mothers that are just on WhatsApp and Facebook? Okay, that means you should take your campaign to Facebook, run Facebook ads targeting them, mothers between ages 45 to 65, or what is it for millennials? Is it for Gen Z? Is it for professionals? So you need to understand the content format that will appeal to them. So you need to understand, okay, should you just work with influencers on Twitter to just do short, witty tweets? Is it that, okay, you need to work with professionals to connect to them on their own platforms, maybe in LinkedIn, for example? So how do you connect with this set of people? So you need to understand that using the how part of the 5 Ws and 1 H. So the next one is the where. The where focuses on where the customers are. You've identified who your customers are. You identified what content will appeal to them. So where should you take your message to? Should you go and meet them? Should you do market activation? That's sales activation. Should you go into campuses? Should you work with their student union bodies? Like, okay, download this app, and when you download this app, there's this 1,000 naira that you get for each new download. So should you work with student influencers on campus? Should you go to markets to go and work with them? Or should you go on social media platforms? And when social media platforms, it's not just social media platforms. They have their unique way of doing things. Should you work with Instagram influencers? Should you work with TikTok influencers? Should you work with HR professionals on LinkedIn? That's because you want to connect with your customers. Should you work with millennials on Twitter? So the way of your content is actually very, very important, because if you've created a nice content, you know your audience, but you are not connecting with this audience where they best reside. They might be on many other platforms, but at this particular point in time, you know that, okay, there are people who are interested in career development. So there's a need for you to work well, intensify your campaigns on LinkedIn. People want to show that they're improving on their careers. So there's a need for you to be aggressive on LinkedIn. There's a need for you to work with corporates or people who are interested, who are within the career development space, to showcase your product. So that's how this thing works. You need to understand the why you must do this, not the way of where your customers are staying currently. So now the why is actually the most important question of all this. The why is, there's no why, there's no campaign, there's nothing, there's no content, there's no need for doing it. Because the why is like, why am I writing content in the first place? Why has to do with what are we trying to achieve with this content? With this content we're written, is it for them to download our app? Is it for them to visit the website? Is it for them to join our mailing list? Is it for them to do whatever? Is it for them to participate in our social media contest? So the why is actually the most important question. That's where it informs the what you should do. It informs where you should target this set of people. So when you understand the why, it's easy for you to shoot. It's easy for you to navigate and do creative stuff.
Hello. Can everyone hear or no? Okay. So kindly let me know. Kindly, you can unmute your mic. Just let me know if I'm the only one who can hear. All right. Oh yeah, you dropped off there.
Okay, I even thought I was the one having the issue.
Yes, kind of happens like that. Sorry about that, guys. Hello. All right. Are you back?
Yeah, you're back here.
Yeah. We couldn't hear you for a while there.
Oh, damn. Sorry. Okay, where did I last stop?
All right, class.
Oh, the why. Okay, thank you. Thank you. Okay, the why. Okay, I've seen on the why. Okay, yes. So the why, yeah? Let me confirm still. Explaining the why. Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Shay. So the why. So the why talks about the why is actually the most important question you should ask yourself. Are we trying to get 3,000 leads? Or are we trying to get 3,500 leads? Are we trying to get people to visit our website? Are we trying to get people to know about us? That's us to do with the why. The why is the basics of what you are doing, is the holy grail, is what is the most important thing. Because if you don't know the why, you'll be achieving top of mind awareness, for example, and what you're actually interested in is not even top of mind. But you feel like, but we are popular now, we are everywhere. But people are not downloading your app. They just know you that, oh, this news product is in the market. So you need to understand the why. So you need to understand your set goal, like your end game. Like, okay, if we do this, that means we've done a successful content marketing campaign. Content marketing strategy we did was top notch. So you might achieve other things while doing a marketing campaign, but you need to understand, okay, is what you set. When you achieve it, or if you achieve it, that's actually the most important thing. Is what you should be actually be interested in. So if your set goal was to have 10,000 downloads on your app, for example, and you had 5,000 downloads, but the fact that, okay, you are now visible everywhere, you are now seen, you feel, okay, and we've done, okay, well, in the books, if we go by the books, you've not done an excellent content marketing strategy campaign. But the fact that, okay, you've gotten visibility, then you've gotten 5,000 downloads as compared to 10,000 downloads, you feel, okay, you've done well. But if you're going by the books, by what you've said, you actually do not do anything right. So do we all get the 5 W's and 1 H of what will form the foundation of your content marketing strategy? We all get that. Okay. Yes, thank you very much, Samuel. So let's continue. Okay, on a message. All right, thank you, Shay. Yeah, so thank you very much. So next, the need for us to understand the content marketing strategy. We have understand, okay, the 5 W's and 1 H of how we should go about this campaign, before we go about the campaign. But there's a need for us to now know, okay, what content marketing strategy are we going to be using? What content marketing strategy are you going to be using? So we have the first one, which is the content pillar model. The content pillar model talks about you generating traffic to one particular page. That particular page will form an authority page, like, okay, is where other pages will go to. Okay, take for example, you've created a landing page, for example, okay, maybe where people to download the app or people to join your mailing list, for example. So you're now linking other pages. It could be a social media page, sending traffic from LinkedIn, for example, to that page. It could be another blog post you've written, sending traffic, sending traction from that other page to this main page. So this main page, which we call the main pillar page, it acts as the authority page on a broad topic. Take for example, the broad topic in that particular page is download our new app. That's the link to download. But you don't want to be sending people straight from Facebook to different sites. They just come to that one page, that landing page. From there, people from Facebook go to that landing page. People from Twitter go to that landing page. Even sometimes you can write a blog post which will send people to that your landing page. So all those other pages, they are anchoring on this main page. So like I explained, I said this strategy, it generates traffic through related link pieces of content. So there's a main pillar page which acts as the authority page on a broad topic it starts on the landing page most times. Then multiple cluster blogs, then they hyperlink to the main page. Take example, the main page talks about, okay, download the new app. Maybe the second on these other cluster pages, one could be talking about the features of your app. So now they've read about the app on that your second page, or this new page you're trying to create traffic to the landing page. So you're written something about the features of the app. This app saves you 5,000 naira daily. This app does this, does that. So they've seen these features, but now you don't want to just send them straight to your maybe Google Play Store, whatever. They just come to one anchor page, one main page, whereby all of them, other pages you just anchor from, and they just move to. And it could also be the landing page for where they just download instantly. So other pages are coming from wherever to drive traffic to that place. Oftentimes, this particular anchor page will get to be visible on search engine search engines rather, because because other pages, other sites, they are sending traffic. They're using it as a backlink. So it's driving traffic. It's driving different people from different platforms, from different pages, different blogs to that particular page. So oftentimes, this particular page tends to do well, unlike these other smaller pages. So that's what we call the cluster pillar model. So SEO is another way of doing content marketing. With SEO, like I often define SEO, I say SEO is actually an acronym for search engine optimization. It's actually everything you do. Like I say, every trick, every juju, every jazz, everything. I don't say legal thing. Anything you do, except unethical things, maybe that may affect your website. But that's to do anything you do to drive traffic to your sites from search engines. So these are keywords, search engine algorithms, backlinks, and other search engine tricks to drive people to your content. So let me quickly identify the clear difference between the first one and SEO. That's cluster pillar model and SEO. The cluster pillar model is basically one major platform sending traffic from other platforms sending traffic to that major platform. But with SEO, other sites, other blog posts, other pages on the website can also be optimized. So it's not just one landing page, unlike the cluster pillar model, but also other pages can be optimized. Other pages can get traffic to. Other pages can be optimized. Other pages can get better search results too. So that's SEO. The SEO actually, there are two types. We have the on-page SEO and the off-page SEO. On-page SEO has to do with content you do on your own site. On your own site. That's to do with content on your About Us page, on your own page, all the pages on your website, all the pages and the posts on your website. For you to be seen by search engines, that's on-page SEO. Like from the name itself, on-page SEO. Anything you do, that's to do with optimizing the pictures on the site. It has to do with you renaming the site to be seen by search engines. It has to do with you renaming those photos. It has to do with you optimizing the speed of the website. It has to do with you using hyperlinking a text on a particular page, on a particular post to another page. So everything you do on your own website, it could be a post, it could be a post, it could be a page. Everything you shall do to drive traffic from search engines to your website. That's SEO. That's on-page SEO. But the off-page SEO has to do with you using other platforms to drive traffic to your own website. It could be traffic from social media platforms. You have large following on maybe Twitter, Instagram, or LinkedIn, for example. Then you've written content on your website, for example. You now use your social media platform. You just write a little about that your content that's on your website already. You now write a little. That's okay. Read more or go and learn more. Then now link them to your website. You might not even use the entire website link. You could just use URL shorteners to reduce the length of the URL such that it's actually easy to just obviously just click. It actually fits into, take for example, Twitter's 140 or 280 character limit, and you get people to drive from your social media pages to your website. That has to do with the use of SEO. So let's continue. The next one that's to do with the thought leadership model, which is also the subject matter expert authority. In this case, you could use someone maybe on your team. Take for example, the CEO of your product, for example, maybe somebody who is notable within the tech space. The person could be writing on LinkedIn. The person could be writing about the product on LinkedIn. The person could be talk about tech, for example, on LinkedIn, and how he and his team has created solutions for people to manage that problem they're having using tech. So he's now driving traffic from his own social media pages as an authority to your product. So that has to do with the subject matter expert authority. So this, and also you need to understand something. Okay, let me read this. This strategy isn't about creating generic content. See, when people who are thought leaders, when they post, you see that it's not oftentimes it's not them go and copy and paste something from maybe Google, for example. Oftentimes is what they have experienced, their personal experiences. So oftentimes you see them using things like storytelling, using things like them using one headline to grab your attention, like how I made my first million at 17. You're like, wow. So they use hook to drag your attention to them. Then not tell you the story about how they lost their mother at one particular age, how they suffered in school. You know, they try to elicit emotions. They try to take you on the journey with them, one empathic journey with them, and you're like, oh, this is. But first, they've used one headline to grab your attention, and you're like, wow, what's happening? And then you're reading. So as you read, you are drawn into it. So they just introduce the offer to you, which is the call to action. So, like I said this strategy isn't about creating generic content. It's not about you as a thought leader expert. It's not about you coming to Twitter or LinkedIn, for example, to say content, types of content, text, video, pictures. That's too generic. That's what every other person can see anywhere. But they tell you about how they use text content to help their clients or how they to achieve this or that. Like taking on that journey, they even mention the client's brand name, they mention the number of users they generated, the number of leads they got. So it's practical, it's something you can experience, something you can be part of. So using thought leadership is actually not generic, it's actually practical, it's actually something that it's real life. Sometimes the kind of content they create is practical and real life examples. So this includes one, they include how-to articles, like how to, okay, the one time I used to do something similar, how to improve your Facebook ads results using my tricks, for example. So the one time I did something like that, so I introduced them to just using contrast. If you just that design you're trying to advertise on Facebook, for example, if you just use contrast on your phone, just improve the contrast a little. It's better appealing. So just little edit is actually one trick I used to get better results. People, it catches attention. So it's not just one design that people can just swipe for. So that design, because I've improved the contrast, so it's now very, very much attractive. There's a way it now captures people's attention. So oftentimes when these thought leaders, they write this content or they create this content, or they do videos like this, it's oftentimes how to do this, do it yourself, for example. Also instructional materials and infographics. It could be an infographics of the number of leads they got for their customers. It could be an infographic of how they raised, maybe a data visualization of how they took their products from 10,000 users to 100,000 users. So they could just do an Instagram chat or whatever chat they do, or whatever Venn diagram, or whatever, or how, for example, if it's going to be a Venn diagram, for example, they could talk about how they were able to get market share. So it's something you cannot just readily see on Google or another search engine. So that's the way subject matter expert authority works, which is also known as thought leadership. So guys, should I still continue? Are we still in sync? Are we still flowing?
Please let know in the chat. Let's know in the chat box, or you can just unmute your mic to let. If okay, yes.
Oh, thank you very much. Thank you very much. Yeah, Uncle Mark, right on. All right, let's continue then. So now let's move on. Next is the best practices in content development. And okay, by best practices in content development, that's to do with things you should be doing for you to have to create better content. So when I was creating this particular part of the slide, I didn't want to say, okay, create, okay, like I don't want to just list some things like, okay, create content every day, do this and that, do like giving you this instructional materials like, okay, 1, 2, 3, must do this, don't do this, don't, no. It sounds cliche, so to speak. So now, this best practices in content development, they have summarized them in 2 parts. 1, you need to understand before you create content, for you to be better in content, for you to get content that scales, and content that attracts, content that engage, content that people that retains people. You need to have these 2 things in your back of your mind. 1, customers' personas, and secondly, the customer journey. When we say the customer persona, that has to do with the customer you're trying to attract, or you're trying to convert or delight. That's to do with what do you understand about this your customer? What knowledge do you have about this your customer? Are they secondary school students? Are they, like I mentioned, are they professionals on LinkedIn? Are they Gen Z people? Are they market women? Are they, okay, there was one time I was working with one brand, so we're trying to do a fintech product for people in the informal markets. So what we tend to do was we had to go into the streets, we had to go into the markets, we had to meet the butchers, for example. We went to the abattoirs, we went to market women, we went to their shops, we went to those people that sells these herbs. So we needed to connect with them, we needed to understand what were banks doing that they were not being banked, what was bank not doing right. So we understood, okay, bank was operating as if they were high up and they were just down. So and bank was just preaching the messages of savings, come and save your money. But these people are not, they are not about savings. They just want to use money. For them, money is just is a means to an end. Money is, okay, I get money, I make money. That means, okay, me that I sell meat, for example, as I make this money, I want to take that money, move it to, I want to buy this thing, another good, for example, I want to order for another good. So they see more money as a means of exchange. So banks were just coming to them and preaching, save. And then that's not what they appeal to them. So for us to understand this customer trying to introduce this app to, they need for them to go into the market. They need for them to understand the value chain in which they operate. They need to understand who are the relevant stakeholders. Okay, they need to understand, okay, for them, they are not money, no, savings shouldn't be the offering, basically. create products that okay, they save the money in their platform, but they don't need to now withdraw it for them to do business. They can just text us USSD code. You could just let us know that, okay, transfer this money to this butcher, or transfer this money to this my wholesaler. So they just see money as a means of exchange. So when you understand your customer personas, you know it helps you to create better content. You understand that your customer is a medical student, for example. So how do you create your content? Then there's a need for you to put the medical terms in your content. There's a need for you to appeal to them. Okay, you see that your customers, they're out of school, for example, because of maybe ASU strike, for example. So that means there's a need for you to create content for them not to be depressed, content that makes them feel alive, content that makes them to be lively. So when you understand the customer personas, it helps you to create better content. So let's explain this. Customer persona refers to those you are trying to attract, delight, or convert. The best content is the content that your customers want to read, they want to listen, they want to watch or share or come back for. So sometimes it's not just you create content and they like it. If you can strive to make your customer want to share your content, you finished work. You've done big stuff, you've done magical stuff. For customers to want to share your content, that means you've done excellently well. So when you understand your customer persona, it helps you to have the right content that people can actually relate with. So now, how do you identify your customer persona? One of the ways you can do this through keyword research. Okay, you know what? I want someone to give us a product, maybe a popular product in Nigeria, for example. Then let's see, come up with, right now come up with a keyword research for that product. We just mention one product and let's just come up with a keyword research. And we will now be able to create kind of content for them. So just come up with a product. Okay, sporty bets, carry wise. All right. So sporty bets. Okay, Schoolio. Oh. Okay. I didn't know that one. Okay. Okay, let's start with ladies menstrual pad. Okay, ladies menstrual pad, I've seen one, but I want a particular product, not what the product does. Okay, let's start with sporty bet, for example. So, okay, toothpaste. Yeah, tell me the type of toothpaste we are talking about. So let's start with sporty bet. Sporty bet is a betting company. So now, the keywords that relate to sporty bet are: 1, betting; 2, football; 3, passive income; 4, earn from home; 5 could be I don't want to say gambling. No, let's use those 4 first and foremost for sporty bets, for example.
Cash out.
Cash out. Thank you. Cash out. Yeah, cash out. Cash out is very, very good. So now, sports, true. So now, for you to create a keyword, you identify these keywords. Now, that's fantastic. But also, you now need to understand something. You want to create content, but there's a need for you to understand, like we mentioned earlier, what particular stage your customer is. 1, we have the awareness stage. 2, we have the interest stage, like we mentioned. We have desire stage, and we have the action stage. So now, if you are creating that kind of content, and we are using, let's go back, for example, we are using SEO as our strategy. If you are writing content for SEO, we need to understand the searcher's intents. There are 4 types of searcher's intents. We have 1. The first one is informational content, informational intents rather. Informational intent. That means the customer or the prospect is looking for information. Like, okay, the customer identifies that, oh, he has a problem. Oh, the customer identifies that, oh, my money is going low. I don't have money again. So I need to make more money. So that's the customer or the prospect will go on Google or go whatever platform to search for how to make passive income. So now when we understand that, okay, that's what the customer is looking for, that's what the prospect is looking for, All we do is we now create content around these keywords we just identified. So now the customer is looking for how to make more money. So now we not mention things like passive income. So what kind of content are we going to create? It could be a video, it could be a text, it could be a whatever we want to create. But now the customer at this particular stage, customer is in the awareness stage. So customer is looking for informational content. We can now create content like how to make passive income. That's because we've identified a need related to our own industry, that's sporty bets, how to make passive income, or how to earn money from home, or how to win, how to make money from sports betting. That's because we understood there are tools for this. I could just give you some tools. There are some SEO tools for this. We have, let me type them. We have keyword planner. We have keyword planner. So these are actually Chrome extensions. You can just add them to your Google Chrome. Another one I use is I use there's some paid ones too. Which other ones is again? I'll check and I'll revert. So we can actually Google them. I use these ones. So also, so let's use another example. Another example is right. Okay, I did that mention carry wise, for example. Okay, now I mentioned just informational intent before. So that intent is navigational. By navigational content, the customer or your prospect is looking for where to get more findings about this. The customer is not searching for how to make passive income. This customer click on the Google search result. He said, okay, Google search. This customer said where to make passive income, or can sporty bets make me more money? No, that's informational. That's informational content. Informational intent rather. So, okay, another intent is actually we mentioned informational, we mentioned navigational. The next one is commercial intent. The customer is looking forward to paying for, or the customer is looking forward to putting, no, not looking forward to putting his card right now. The customer is looking forward to, no, the customer is now that desire stage. The customer is now looking forward to the transactional is the last stage, but the customer is now looking forward to the step before making purchase, or the step before downloading the app, the step before putting his or her card, the CVV and the credit card numbers on the platform. The customer is now looking forward to transact, to make money through the platform. So commercial and transactional are quite similar, but until the customer wants to initiate payment, that's transactional. So let's use carry price, for example. Informational intent. The customer is looking for how to save more money, how to save my money, how to invest my money, how to, those are two questions mostly, they're informational. So at the navigational stage, the customer is now looking for piggy vest or carry wise. Which one is better, or which is better between piggy vest and carry wise? I think that's one of the things people search for when they want to use either of these platforms. Customer is searching for piggy vest or carry wise. So now when you want to create that informational content, for example, you might now do something like a product comparison. It might not be so loud, it might just be subtle, it might just be a post on your blog pages. Actual messaging. Okay. Is that consideration stage? Okay. Tell me more in the chat box. I'll come back to it. HP. Okay. At that informational stage for carry wise, the person is looking for more information between no, person looking for information on which will help him save better. But now at the navigational stage, the customer is now looking for comparison between piggyback and carry wise. So now at the navigational, at the commercial stage, the person has now gone for carry wise, for example. He has downloaded the app. But until the customer now starts transacting on that platform, that's when we now have the transactional stage. So when you now want to create a content, you know how this customer or this prospect is at this particular stage. Or maybe, for example, the customer is at the transactional stage. You might not do an explainer video on how prospects can easily use the app. How you can do an explainer video, how showing them the steps to download the app. You can just say, okay, maybe the script one, scene one is showing them, is showing an information whereby the customer visits Google Play Store, it searches the script 2, scene 2, is searching for typing carry wise. So that's kind of content you create for that particular customer, that particular stage. Am I making sense? Hope I've not mixed things up so far. Oh, fantastic. Yes, thank you very much. So that's how it basically works. So even for rice based Skuleo and other products. So that's how it basically works. Basically. So let's continue. Let's go back to where we were before. So now you've done your keyword research, you've known what your customer are looking for. So you write or you create your article or your content or your video or your podcast in relation to what this set of people they are looking for. So now another way you can get your customer personas is through internet forums. We have Nairaland is actually one very, very good tool which will give information about your customers. It gives you like is a pool. Sometimes you see customers searching for different things. You see customers searching for products, features. You see customers searching for, should I choose between this product or this product? So internet forums like Nairaland, you can actually even use foreign ones like Cura to create content that resonates with your customers. So when you use internet forums, you can actually get information about your customers. So another thing you could do is using industry news. Sometimes you see platforms that are dedicated to that space, creating news, creating content related to that. You can now get information about your customers on that because your customers might likely contribute, or might be that, okay, these people that are sharing this industry news, they've done your research, they've done a report, so they're not sharing you all this information. So you might get results from there, you might get insights into your customers from there, and it helps you to write or create better content. So having this industry news at your disposal is actually a very, very good tool. So also you need to understand this. Take for example, we have tech points, for example, in the tech space. We have TechCrunch for you tend to see things about funding, you tend to see this thing are really the seeds funding, it's raised this money. So it helps you to understand, okay, our competitor has done this, or this kind of content we should create. So that's how it basically works. So also another way you can get information about your customer is through FAQs. And by FAQs, not just going to your competitor's page and creating and replicating their own FAQs. You can actually create FAQs through your sales team. Oftentimes, we tend not to use our sales team. We just create our marketing in isolation. There's a need for us to ask the sales team what questions are people also asking you. Sales team and the support teams. Support could be your CRM, for example. There are questions that people often asking. So it helps you to now create the kind of content in terms of solutions for the kind of questions they're asking. It might not even be solutions, it might just be the kind of inquiries they're asking. It might just be because of those kind of questions they're asking, it might just even drive traffic to your blog post. It might not be a solution, so to speak, but because they're asking this kind of question, but the fact that you have written about it, created content about it, people are now looking forward to it. You might not even have a solution, for example, but the fact that you resonated with the questions, people are, your product should be, it should not just be product based, it should be solution based. When you're creating product, often when people create product, they just create product and they force it on the marketing team, go and sell it. No, you should have worked with the marketing team, you should have worked with people who have understanding of the market, people who understand that, okay, this product can sell this way. Okay, if there's this feature on this, we're able to sell it this way, we're able to push people to download this product this way. So you can get insights through FAQs from your sales team, your CRM, etc. So now, also, another way you can get insights of customer persona is this. It's through surveys. Sometimes some people will tell you, fill this Google form. They're running surveys. You see brands tend to do that too. That's because they want to understand the current goals of the customers, or they want to understand the current challenges they're facing through and how they can start creating content or start to improve on how to create solutions or to their challenges. So one, it could be to help them to achieve their current goals. Secondly, it could be help them to reduce their challenges currently or to actually stop it. So that's how customer personnel. When you have this understanding about this, you can create limitless content. Content that they're not just content that people are looking forward to reading because you've done your research, you've seen that people are searching for it, you've seen internet forums, or you've seen that people are searching for this on looking for results on Ireland, for example. In industry news, they are quoting this same thing. In your sales team, they say that people are asking for this. Your survey you did, people are still asking for this. They're like, okay, this is the kind of content I should create. Not just because okay, something is trending. You self go and jump on Oriloriro, go and jump on whatever thing is trending. But whereas there are so many things that you can actually create magic from that you've not actually tapped. So when you understand this, use all these tools, research, forums, industry news, you can have an arsenal of content. So like we've been mentioning, customer journey. So content should be solution based. Your content, it shouldn't just be when you're creating content, it shouldn't just be our products no, our products is a take for example a phone for example. You shouldn't be emphasizing on the phone is slick, the phone is loud. You should be focused more on is the customer, how is the product helping the customers to solve problems or helping them to achieve their goals, objectives. So when you understand this, it's easy for you to create whatever magic you plan to create. So now, the customer journey, you need to understand something. What problems are your prospects having and what are they searching for? When you understand the prospect, when you understand the problems your prospects are having, like we mentioned, it's easy for you to create content. So the customer journey is the steps people take through before downloading your products. I think I mentioned it before. It's called the IDA model. It's actually the awareness, the interest, the desire, and action. The awareness stage makes them realize that okay, you have a problem. Oh, this thing that I'm going through is not normal. It's actually a problem. And you created a medical tool to help you to solve that. Make them stimulate interest in that product. Then make them see reasons that, oh, this product, there's a difference, it's going to increase by make them desire to buy that product. Then when they now want to add to cart, or when they want to download now, and then they now take action. So at each part, you have unique content you should be creating. Your content should resonate with that particular stage that your audience is. Don't just create content, especially when you have a segmentalized customer or prospect base. For example, maybe you're using email marketing. You've segmented your audience into different areas. People that came in to go, you introduce the first set of content to them. Then the week after, you introduce your products. Then the next, you're talking about the solutions. No, you first introduce the solutions. Then the next, you're talking about your products. How your solution is bridging the gap between the problems you identify. How your product is the connecting factor between the problems and the solution. So when you understand the customer journey,
Hello, everyone. I believe already just dropped off there briefly. But so far, just want to quickly ask, okay, hello, Harry, you're back.
all right, guys. Okay. Where do we stop? I'm obviously in sync. Are we still following?
Yes, we're still following.
Okay. Thank
You
you.
can share slide.
Okay. All right. So should I continue? Can you give me feedback on what you've learned so far
Yeah, that's what I was gonna ask, like the feedback of how
Yeah,
they've been learning.
yeah. Let me hear from everyone. So, few of us. So I will just know, okay, what I should just intensify on, what I should explain better before I go to the next stage. So anybody?
Anyone willing to share? Let me see. If I call on a few names. So you could also share in the chat, and you could unmute your mic to share if you would like to. Um, for me personally, I think I found the awareness, interest, and desire, the hater model very interesting. And, something I think I'm gonna learn more about and just use it in my processes for creating content and Treford, obviously, and creating content. Yeah, so I think it's very interesting model. So I also like to hear from Damilola. You could drop it in the chats as well, and I don't know if you're still on the drive. You could drop a chat if you can. And Uncle Mark, hello. You could drop a chat as well if you like to. And everyone else would like to drop a chat or just go ahead to mute and speak on how you've enjoyed the session or on what you've been learning so far and probably questions you have or things you want to clarify.
Hi. So, thank you very much for hosting this session. I would say that you took some time really dissect some key concepts and how to reorient the mind when looking into exploring, especially the customer journey, and what is your target audience and what are you doing to satisfy them or to reach them. It's not just about creating content and putting it out there. So I'm very appreciative for spending this session hearing more about this. You did well. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Shay. Thank you very much. Okay, any other? Shall I continue? Okay, I think I might just shoot. So let me continue to share my screen. Where are you? Okay. All right. Let's shoot. Okay. But do we all get the customer journey? Okay. I think I have a message. Okay. Okay. The feedback from Bashir. Though I joined late, what I've understood so far is that we can use our product and relationship to create content, for example, where chicken is related to food and protein, we can create on that. That's very fantastic. You can actually even visit the Treford YouTube channel later on. So you actually get to watch this video later on to catch up. All right, thank you very much. So like I mentioned, I said the customer journey. I hope we all got that before we went off the other time. Okay, I will want to believe that's a yes. So I would like to continue. So moving on. So they are actually content format people could use for each customer journey, each stage of the customer journey. But the thing is, it's not an absolute. It's not that okay, this is it and this is what you must be using always. No, there are just things that okay. Oftentimes, people tend to use them, or these are things that you should be using at this particular point in time. Take for example, look at awareness stage. Awareness stage, you are trying to give out information. You're trying to let people realize that they have a problem. You're trying to make people realize that okay, um, there's this thing you are going through. There's a need for you using our product. We're trying to highlight the problems that they have. That means you need to inform them. You need to use blogs. You need to use blog posts, for example. You need to use videos, for example, to show the percentages of high mortality rate, for example, high illiteracy rate, for example. You need to want to blow things out of proportion. You use videos, for example, you tell people that, oh, 50 million Nigerians are unbanked. Use videos, you show people that, okay, you went to this market, the people are not unbanked. You went, like, you use videos, like, so at that awareness stage, so people like, oh, this is true, this is that's true. I also use infographics. You use Instagram, you use pie charts, you use whatever, you use data visualization tools to showcase whatever research you've done in the market, whatever data you've collected. So you try to visualize it using any infographic tool, for example. So you also use research reports. Okay, you've done your customer survey, you've done your market survey, for example. You've identified that, okay, there's a problem out there. So how do you let people know that this problem is a problem? You need to use reports. You need to publish reports. You need to publish your findings. So when you do this through the awareness, people now tend to see like, oh, this brand, they're publishing this brand, they're talking about this product. This brand is talking about this problem I think I have. This brand is talking about this thing, or this billboard I saw, whatever. So that's the awareness stage. That's awareness. So those are content you'll be creating. But like I mentioned, it's not an absolute. You can actually do something else at that particular stage. But it will not all go well for you to now, at the awareness stage, you're now doing telling them how to use your products, whereas they don't see the need why they should use your products. So that's why I said, okay, it's not absolute, but sometimes these are things that should guide us. So the interest and the desire stage, they're actually very, very similar. So in the desire stage, you could do product demos, like let people see how your product works. That's okay, because you realize that, okay, they seem to have an interest already. You publish the results. If you've done the educational blogs, you've done videos, they see that, okay, this thing is this is a problem. So you're not introducing your products as a means to an end to help them solve that problem. So you do product demos, you do webinars. You could invite your CEO, for example, to facilitate a session. You invite someone notable on your team to come and talk about how your product is helping people to be better people, helping people to achieve more, helping people to reduce costs, to reduce expenses, to reduce expenditure, for example. So you could also use videos like you use in the awareness stage to amplify your message. Also, you can use podcasts, you can use platforms like Clubhouse, you can use Twitter Spaces to tell messages about your product. So you can also do social media lives. You could do lives, it could be a video live, it could be an audio live like Twitter. And also you could do what we call competitor comparisons. At this stage, your prospect actually is unsure about using your product or another product he saw somewhere. So you can now do your product comparison. Let him realize that, okay, your product is superior, using whatever superior edge your product has over the competitor. So lastly, at action stage, at this point, you use things like your images. You use images. You need to let people see what you are doing behind the scene. You need to let people see that you're a brand that is based in Ikeja, for example. Your brand, you have people who are from other tribes. Your brand is diversified. You want to show people the humors of your brand. You want to connect with them through images. You want them to connect well with you. Also, you can also use testimonials. With testimonials, people don't want to be the first person that will be hurt by products. So they want someone to go and try it first. And when that person tries it and the person has given a good review or a bad review, but in this case, your own case, it's a good review. So you cannot post testimonial. So when you post testimonial, your customer, your prospect at this point in time, or your lead, because it's almost about taking action. You're doing at this point in time, you now realize that, oh, okay, this Kafayat who has given a testimonial, which I hope is true, seems to agree with this product that, oh, this product is fantastic. This product helped me to achieve this and this and that. So the testimonial will help you to achieve more, be able to convert more. You use testimonials. So that thing you could use is how to emails. So when you send emails that has to do with how to use your products, you could send emails that has to do with how to download your products. You can send emails that has to do with how to refer people on your products. So those how to emails, it's getting people to transact or interact with your products. So that how to emails is actually one kind of content you're creating at that particular point in time. You don't want to create an how to emails at the awareness stage when the people don't even know your products in the first instance, or they don't even see why they should use your product in the first instance. So when you create how to emails at the action stage, it's it takes your prospective customer, it takes them to that position whereby they become customers. So when you use auto emails, it's actually very, very good at that particular point in time. So that thing is product literature. What literature has to do with your product UI UX writing, it has to do with you talking about the about us theme for the product. That's to do with you talking about digital assets that consider products. Are you able to, okay, take for example, you run a platform that help people to buy US stocks, but now you're able to partner with Flutterwave, which is giving you the payment API to connect your product to your other partners, so to speak. So we need to talk about your product literature so that people realize that, oh, they're working with genuine people. People see that, okay, your product is actually a good product that people can actually use. So people tend to connect with you or your product that way. So that thing you could do is community forums. At this point in time, you should try to get your community, your customers, try to get a customer into your communities. You tend to see people use platforms like Telegram these days. If you tend to use cryptocurrency, you see that most times others they tend to add it to communities. Even on fintech platforms, you tend to add it to communities. Take for example, RiseVest on Telegram, whereby they give you day-to-day tips. They tend to do sometimes they tend to do weekly finance classes. So make them join community groups whereby you now take the conversation from just being formal to informal, make them very close, like your family already. So leverage on community forums. Also leverage on follow-up emails. Okay, this person has said you down. Okay, take for example, someone has downloaded the app, but the person has not started interacting with the app. So you could just do follow-up email. Don't just let the person just sign up and that's it. Follow-up email. We've noticed that it's been a while you've used the app. Use this link to reactivate your account. Use this link to show that you are still part of us. Okay, or just checking up on them, or you are planning a giveaway, or you're planning a discount, or wish them happy Independence Day, etc. So just follow up with this set of people before you know they're already relating and interacting on your app. Because the thing is, it's not that they don't want to interact with the app. Oftentimes people are sandwiched with so many information. People are sandwiched with so many life challenges. People are sandwiched with so many things, so many other computer products. But when you come back to them, there's a tendency for them to want to transact with you. So I'd like you guys to give me feedback before we go to the next slide. Looking forward. Any feedback? Zoom is clear so far. Do you understand that? Should I need to explain something better? So you have the floor. Hello, anyone?
Yeah, I think for me, I think one of the most interesting things is I like how personally this part is flexible. Just like you said earlier, like as much as these content types that you've mentioned for each of these stages, like the studio stages, you can easily use any at any other point.
Yeah.
At any other point. So instead of educational blogs for awareness, you could probably use educational blogs to also create like an act. You can also use it in the action phase, probably like put like say maybe like a link to register for a particular course in at the end of the educational blog. You know, so like how I think for me the most interesting part is how interwoven that all of these content types can work across all of the different stages.
Very correct. Thank you very much, Fibon. Also, Samuel also added to it. He said, based on my last point, I guess genuine care for your lead is as important as anything else. Yes, because people are. We're also in this part of the world that people are actually going through a lot of challenges. People, there's inflation here and there, so people just want something that is instant, something that, but I cannot use it now. I move on. I forget it, not deliberately or consciously, but it just get lost. So you need to genuinely come and care. So it's not even caring because of you want to care. You care because you want them to do what you want them to do. But it appeals to them as if you are caring for them, really. So when you really come back to them, come back to check up on them, come back to ask for how they are doing, you come back to wish them happy Independence Day, wish them happy birthday, for example. You come back to invite them for any of your seminars, your symposiums, whatever. There's a tendency that they will want to do business with you. They want to interact with your products. So let me continue. So I'll be talking about how to create content consistently. And this is the final slide. How to create content consistently. Okay, can you still see my slide? I believe so. Okay.
Yes, I can see a slide.
Okay, thank you very much. So now, how to build consistency with content creation. Like we mentioned, it's not enough for you to just create content. You need to distribute content. You need to create content. So this creating consistency with content creation is what I've identified is what we call the content process. That's to do with research or plan. There's plan that has to do with your marketing objective, but there's a need for you to research. You need to have market or customer or whatever data you want to research on. Then there's a need for you to create and create and create and create and create. There's not a need for you to distribute content across platforms or using paid means. There's a need for you to measure, analyze, know what's working, what's not working, basically. So this is what we call the content process, basically. So now, well, I didn't want to know how to build consistency with content creation, or I didn't want to say, okay, writing monotonous guidelines that, okay, number one, write daily. Number two is, so I just want to use the content process to identify and help you to understand creating content, consistent content, basically. So now, one thing you need to do is research. When you research, you have an arsenal of insights, you have an arsenal of data. You understand, create better content. You understand that, okay, you can use Instagram to create better content. You understand that, okay, and people are now jumping on one particular social media platform. You understand that, okay, you can use blog posts to create content. You understand that, okay, you can jump on some social media trends. So when you do research, you have better content. You can create content because you have an inflow of data. So it's time for you to now be expert, which is content. What that means, you research, and it needs to go. All right, thank you very much for you to continue. So you need to research. So you need to research the best format that appeals to that particular audience. So when you have an understanding of this, it helps you to understand, okay, this is my particular product. This kind of content that my competitors, for example, are using, and that is working perfectly for them. And you understand that, okay, you are getting this letter for this from a competitor. You're getting, and people are actually really responding to them. People are actually engaging them, or maybe because you visited their Instagram pages, and when they do their discount sales, and you see that people tend to People tend to comment. People tend to, you see interactions like, I've downloaded the app, it's not going through. It's like, okay, that means people are really, really downloading this. People are really, really using this. So you monitor that, okay, Instagram is working for these people. Then there's a need for you to maybe use Instagram, then improve upon what they are doing. Or you now realize that, okay, there's a need for us to use Twitter because you identify that, okay, Twitter also works. Or because they have a large marketing budget, for example, they are working with some influencers. So should I do influencers? Okay, they're using 5. What if I use 6? So when you do holistic research, your research has to do with your product. What are people talking about your product on any of those platforms you're talking about? Maybe internet forums, search engines, for example. So when you understand what people are searching for about your product, what people are searching for about your industry or your market, what people are searching for about user products. So when people are searching about your product and market, basically, you can have better understanding of creating content that appeals to them. So like we mentioned, I said, research the best format to reach that particular audience. With consistent researches on content topics, you have a diversified way of telling and improving your story. You understand that, okay, when your CEO, for example, when your CEO did subject matter expert authority, that's top leadership, via his LinkedIn page, you people were able to get 10 downloads. Okay, what if he does that? He did that once last week. What if he does that twice this week? Are we going to get 10, 20 downloads? Are we going to get 15? So you work on that. You see, okay, that one works. Then you can ask, okay, let's use this other research platform. So when you incorporate all those, it's easy for you to be better at content creation. You can have better content. You can create content that resonates with your audience. So that's for research. So another thing is, like, I often tell people when people how to write better, they say just write, keep on writing, keep on writing, keep on writing. So in this content, just keep on creating. That's when many people, just like me, we explored TikTok. So we're creating content. So I was able to still drive traffic from that platform to my to my landing page. So when you create content, you can explore different ways of creating content. You can easily connect with your audience. You can easily connect with your potential customers. You can easily connect with people who are going to purchase your product, people who are going to use your product. So when you keep on creating, you can see what works and what's not working. No, that's the fourth part. So just keep on creating, keep on trying new things. Try Instagram carousels, try okay, Twitter's introduced Twitter spaces, try it. Okay, organize weekly, monthly meetups, for example. So just create different things that resonates with your customer, your audience. So that way you can see what works and what's not working. So just keep on creating, and before you know, you've seen what works and you could stick with it. And when you have an arsenal of data or insights through your research, you can create better content. You are motivated to do it. You are getting feedbacks, and you know, okay, this is actually what works. So also another thing that often affect people, that make people not to create content consistently. The fact that, okay, they don't distribute content. They just create content and they just post, and that's it. But okay, so when they just post and nobody's reacting to it, or just 2 likes, no comments, it's just there. It's like they're not doing something that's working. But when they distribute content, when that content they created, they look at other ways, they explore other ways to tell stories around that content. They use, okay, maybe it's a text content, for example. They now incorporate visuals to it. They now did an infographic, for example. Instead of writing that long text, they can just do, okay, the bullet points from each. For example, they identify 10 course of action, 10 lessons. They just identify those 10 lessons, make them 2 bullet points, turn it to, okay, into infographics. Number 1, drink water. Number 2, eat vegetables. Number 3. So then you share it on Instagram. People are like, oh, this is informative. And maybe on your bio or maybe if it's a LinkedIn, for example, if it's Twitter, for example, there's a link to read more. Maybe that's where your main authority pages. People can tend to just go. So you're driving traffic. That's actually even organic. So then maybe you have a large marketing budget or you have a reasonable amount of marketing budget. You cannot advertise it. Facebook ads is actually very cheap. Or let me say affordable. So you can now advertise, you can now promote this content. And when you are not even trying to sell, it's just informative. It's actually even cheaper. It's actually more affordable because you're just trying to get rich. You're not trying to get people to sign up to your course. You're not trying to get to your websites. No, you're not trying to use the sales objective that might be expensive. So you just basically reach and just put a link to learn more. And you might not really spend as much as possible with 5K, 5 to 10K, maybe from 3K or so. At least you can even post it at some point. So when you distribute your content, you are better poised to reach more people. You are better poised to get better results, which encourages you to do more. So like I mentioned, I said, don't just create content, distribute content. When you convert, when you convert your content to more formats and share as carousels, for example, on Instagram, infographics on LinkedIn, or a video on TikTok, then you promote them or you advertise. So when you do this distribution of content, you see many brands you work with, they just create content and that's it. There's no budget for advertising. But when you create budget for advertising, you get better results. Better results, you're encouraged to do more. You are encouraged to build more, create more content actually. That way you can build consistently over time. So, so the last one is for you to measure and analyze. The need for you to know what is working and what is not working, what you should pause and what you should discontinue and what you should improve upon. So, like I mentioned, I said it is important to measure what worked or what is working. Then you also use metrics to identify what should be discontinued. Take for example, many social media platforms, or almost all of themselves, they have features that talks about insights. That's for Instagram, or is it impressions or tweets impressions for Twitter also. Um, Facebook should be insights too because it's like Instagram. LinkedIn should be analytics. So you can actually measure what is working, what is not working, what this one we doing this kind of content consistently for 1 week or 2 weeks is not working. Let's discontinue it or let's promote it or let's get to this number of followers first before we still continue this content, for example. So when you measure and analyze what is working, you can better get better results. So use metrics to identify what should be continued, what should be improved upon, what you should intensify upon. This will help you to declutter. This will help you to reduce what is not working. This will help you to pause what is not working. This will help you to improve upon what is working and able to get better results. And you're better encouraged to build more. You're better encouraged to develop more content. You're better encouraged to create more content, basically. So this helps you to declutter and narrow your focus. So thank you very much, guys. Thanks for interacting. And that is the end of my interaction with you. Thank you. So I would love to hear questions. Send them my way.
Thank you so much, Ore. That's been a very, very insightful session. I like the parts of where you have to like research and analyze because it's always important to know how far your content went and who it reached. So please, yes, let's share. Let's ask questions if you have any. You can ask in the chat box, or you can just unmute yourself and raise your hand, unmute yourself. Let's have a little bit of conversation. What did you learn? Let's do a short debrief and ask questions. What are the things you learned? What did you find really interesting that you're going to pick and apply to your work from today on? And what was that thing that you learned that stood out for you? Or if you have any questions, you can ask them as well. Yep. Okay, I can. I'm not seeing anyone dropping any questions. Okay, if there are no questions, I think to mean that Ore has done. Okay, I see somebody dropping a question finally. Okay, if Feolua drops a question, says what I found mostly interesting. Okay, Okay, your feedback, interesting, great. Thank you very much, Feolua. What I found most interesting today has to be the ADA customer journey, and genuine care really goes a long way. Well said, Feolua. Well said, Feolua. All right, I don't know if you have anything to say about that.
Thank you very much for the feedback. Thank you very much. Yeah. So there's actually nothing to say about that, but I hope you understand it in its entirety. The ADA model, the customer journey, and journey care. Oh, journey care, you're talking about it being going a long way. So basically, I hope you understand it in its entirety. If you don't, I could just say one or two things on it. Oh, okay. I think we are getting more feedbacks. Thank you. I think the idea of being considered as inclusive and being part of community, yes, really does tell people responsible for product or service. Thank you. Okay. What should I say? Okay, HP, you can actually check the website, check the YouTube channel. The video is going to be there. But if you want me to touch more on anything, I can actually go back to my slide. Then you can just say, okay, explain this better. If you said I should say more on something, which one?
Right. What Ife meant basically was like I think she mentioned on the fact that she really found the ADA model interesting, as well as the customer journey part where you really need to genuinely care about like how genuine care really goes along with. So probably like I think maybe the ADA model, maybe just saying one or two final remarks because we're running up on 10 minutes. Yeah, like 10 minutes left session.
Okay. All right. Okay. Thank you very much, people. Okay, the ADA model is the model that helps us to understand well our customers, or let's say our prospects, like at what that point in time. You need to understand something that okay, our prospects, because before they become customers, they have different stages, which they are okay. I take for example, I stumble upon a social media ad, for example, me on Facebook, for example. That's me getting to know about the product, that awareness stage. So I click on that visit profile on Instagram, for example. Click on visit profile. That means, oh, I've signified interest. Okay, I've seen, and I go through the post on the platform. I see that okay, it's a fintech app, for example. It helps me to save money with ease. It helps me to access US stock markets. That means help me to earn more. Okay, that means I'm not getting much interested in the app. So that means I'm not having the desire about the app. So then, and I go to the Instagram bio and I see, oh, download our app via this link. As soon as I download that link, I've taken action. Is it that 4 different stages? As soon as I downloaded the app, as soon as I click download, I have taken action, which is maybe the action the person who or the brand want me to take. What the objective? Take for example, that's me using a social media ad to go to the profile. So take for example, if the social media profile it lands straight to the website, I said this ad, or maybe it might not be an ad, maybe an influencer posted about it, or it's just a random thing I just stumble upon. Okay, I see it. I'm aware about it. Okay, I see this thing is interesting. So as soon as I start contemplating about it, that's has to do with the interest and desire stage. So as soon as I download the app, as soon as I join the mailing list, as soon as I put in my card details, as soon as I do whatever it's believed to be the brand's end goal, the marketing objective, what the content they really did was set out to achieve. As soon as I do what that means I've taken action. So and that's like it actually works for people. Except people who are maybe impulsive buyers, they just say something and that's the buy. And maybe that stage they just go view. But normally the either model, people don't just buy things out of the blues like that. There's this level of thinking that's supposed to flow across. So when they see something, they get aware about it, okay. But maybe because they did not purchase as soon as they saw it, there's a need for you to still follow up with content. There's a need for you to still put more content. Okay, they saw your ad and they just follow your page, and that's it. They're just part of your followers. But there's a need for you to now be creating content that will make them interested and make them desire to have that product. Then to now make them to download that product. So those are those stages. That's how the leader model talks about, and it's also under the customer journey. So the customer flows along that continuum. It flows around the awareness, the interest, the desire, until the person takes action. The action doesn't mean it has to be a sales action oftentimes. It could be downloading something, it could be downloading a free ebook too. It might not be something that they won't have to pay. It might be even winning a social media contest. But the fact that that's what your marketing objective is all about. For them, someone winning that contest, for them downloading that app, that's it, make them take action. And that's what the EDA model basically talks about.
Thank you so much for that detailed explanation, Ore. If you will, please let's know if that was helpful in some way in the chats. Thank you so much, Ore, once again. Please let every one of us thank Ore via the chats, like for this awesome session. You can also use the reaction button to just show some love, Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you so much. We really appreciate the time and the way I see there was a lot of passion in the way you were explaining every single detail through the session. And I really, really appreciate that. Like you really took your time to explain each and every single detail. Like it was just pretty amazing. Thank you so much for that.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
It's good to be here.
Yeah, great. All right.